and gentlemen, I present to you Life's Milkshake Moment with health coach Joe D.
Welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment. I am so delighted and I'm honored and just humbled that you came to be with us here this evening. We're calling it Wow Wednesday now, aren't we? Because you will have a wow moment. You will have a wow moment because this is what we do. There are wonders of opportunity with wonderful people. And I have two here tonight. I am Jody Bear, and I am just delighted to be with the KP Media family. It has been just an amazing whirlwind week. Debut last Wednesday. Now we had the 4-hour live event. Well, the context of Life's Milkshake Moment, the Wednesday show, is this. Life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely. And when you do, your life will be oh so sweet. So what are these Life's Milkshake Moments that you can create in all of your 6 pillars of human awareness? Tonight, we will focus in on the spiritual pillar. Tonight, you will feel hope. Tonight will be a night like none other. Why? Because you've never been down this path before. You've never been where we're going before, and you will be a transformed person. I always say, as a health coach and nutritionist, that health is like an inside job. That's where transformation begins. A little bit about me for those of you that are getting acquainted with Dr. Jody Bear. I have been a holistic nutritionist and a health coach for over 42 years. My continuous practice over these 40 years have taken off 1 million pounds of toxic fat, not weight loss, because it's toxic fat. It doesn't come back. 100,000 pounds, sometimes in 1 year. Has been tremendous. And I've been humbled to say that over 2,000 people that have come through as clients, I've been able to help on the front lines with COVID during this COVID era. But Dr. Jody Bear was just a little girl from small town Montana. Yes, Laurel, Montana, have on one red light. When I left at age 18, there was no more traffic lights. So I'm figuring, I kind of had my vision. I took the traffic light with me. I wanted to create hope. I wanted to be a trailblazer. And that I did. You see, my Ignite moment. Yes, I learned when I was about 5 years of age. My mother was an immediate widow. My dad should not have passed away at 42. Not going to tell you the whole story because you got to get the book. See it down here below. But this is what I know. At age 5, I found out I could sing. I could sing. And sing I did. I opened up the door in the house and the neighbors heard me across the street. My mother gave me hope. My mother gave me hope because she decided little Jody needed singing lessons and piano lessons. She found the money. You know those kind of moms and dads out there, don't you? And this is something she could ill afford, but she did it. And what happened is that little Jody, when she left at age 18, taking that traffic light with her, I was able to go ahead and sing in the concert halls of the world stage, on the world stage. And it was one of those times. I was 23 years old. I was back in Minneapolis, St. Paul, on my way to a solo performance with the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra singing Handel's Messiah, broadsided. The next day, I woke up face down in a halo. What was I going to do? Paralyzed from the shoulders on down. My mother gave me hope again. She led into me and said, Jody, the doctors, no, They only see what they see. They don't know who you are. So I implore you, listening audience, viewing audience tonight, and those that are going to see this after, go and know who you are. They knew that I had a diagnosis, but I knew that my diagnosis was not my prognosis. And I walked out of that hospital 6 months later. I've been running ever since. There is hope. I can tell you, when you hear the word ignite moment, when you hear that health isn't something you do, it's who you are along life's journey. Are you ready to go with me? Every single week, we will focus on that moment in health. We will focus on all 6 pillars. Like I said, tonight it's spiritual. Next week, the day before Thanksgiving, that Wednesday, the 24th, we're going to focus on the physical pillar. Then we'll go into emotional, social. And when you have all those 5 pillars together, the financial comes along. So, as I know, we will give one health tip every single week. So, are you ready for the health tip? It's a spiritual health tip. And today, it's going to be about meditation. Meditation. And I'm not talking about the one if you've got to wear beads and sing funny things. If you want to do that, fine. I know what I believe. Know what you believe. This will give your inner man, your inner woman, your inner spiritual being such peace. And isn't that our spiritual pillar? You see, meditation, and they've said 15 minutes of meditation every single day is like sleeping an extra hour and a half every single day. You don't even need as much REM sleep. It helps anti-aging. It helps with energy. It helps with vitality. And I've always said, now at 67, energy creates vitality, which transcends into longevity. So go with me. So Jody, I've never meditated. Well, guess what? You can do it with me here today. I'm going to show you a tip. Are you ready? I want you to go ahead and take your left hand and put it over your heart. Feel your pulse? You do, don't you? Then take your right hand and put it over your heart. You'll feel a bigger pulse, won't you? So put your hands like this as you meditate. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in and out. Take it in through your nose and out through your mouth. In yoga, they call this Savasana breath. And if this is uncomfortable for you, just go ahead and seal your index finger with your thumb, put it on your lap. Sit up. You can do this in your office chair and just breathe in with your office chair. Breathe in twice, 3 times, 4 times. Then close your eyes on the 5th and just listen to your breath. If you fall asleep with a nap, well, you probably needed it. I oftentimes do. I was laying down because I have one of these infrared acupuncture massage tables. I will put you out every time. But I was just doing this today I'm going to suggest this, and I will put it in to the chat bar in just a little bit. It is go.confidencetones. Go.confidencetones.com. It is a complete litany of alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta, and all binaural tones. It is brain entrainment. You get your brain clear, the spirit man and woman can speak. Here's a tip. Say, but Jody, how am I going to get into this thing? Go.confidencetones.com. The signature that is orange, and it's called high definition. These are the quickie. These are the microwave ones, even though I don't use a microwave, of course. But the microwave versions, what are you going to do? You're going to put the 10-minute meditation tones on. You're going to take your breaths. You're going to sit there for 10 minutes. And then when you're done, guess what? You're done. You will feel so revived for the rest of your day. You won't need that Snickers bar. You won't need anything but just feeling good. And for the last 2 to 3 minutes before I bring my guest on, I want to give one healthy food, because next week we are talking about the physical pillar. It is going to be a Thanksgiving show. And I am going to give you this butternut squash soup recipe. I'm going to put it in my Facebook page. It is Jody Nylander Bear. I'm going to give you the butternut squash soup recipe. You can make it with yams. You can make it with sweet potatoes. But now I'm going to take a minute and just educate you why and how the difference between a yam and a sweet potato and a white potato. Because, we get potatoes next week. We get them all month long, and we get them until New Year's and going, oh, I guess I know where the potatoes went. But there's a way to get around them. So are you ready? All right. This is in a book that was written, The Top 101 Facts That Fight Aging and Diabetes. It's a diabetes fix. Okay. Well, you've got yams, you've got sweet potatoes, you've got white potatoes. Real easy. Yams are the real deal. Yams you're going to find in an ethnic store. You're going to find them in maybe Whole Foods, but a farmer's market. They're tuberous. All right. They have the lowest glycemic rate, and they're the best for you. Just like turmeric is tuberous. Okay. Sweet potatoes, what you see in the grocery store. We have Publix down here in Florida. That's what you're going to have. You're going to have the sweet potatoes, however, are nightshades. So if you have digestive issues, they're not the best for you. But yams can grow to be upwards of 50 pounds. 50 pounds. So they can be much bigger. All right. What you need to do when you bake a yam, especially, prick it, because it will explode because the skin is so tight in the oven. Okay. Now, they're not at all related. They're not at all related. But what I want to say, whether you make, as Les Brown would say, and we're honoring the man back here, Les Brown says, Mamie Brown's sweet potato pie. Now, I believe that no food tastes as good as health feels. So let's just make that sweet potato pie, that those yams taste really, really good. Use date sugar. Yes, dates make sugar. Dates are very low glycemic. You won't get that spike. You won't get that full bloated feeling. So use yams, use date sugar, and if you must, have white potatoes, mashed potatoes with your turkey and gravy. Just remember, potatoes are a starch. They have the highest glycemic rate, and just have potatoes separate. How do you do that? Easy. When you're looking at this plate that you're going to have for Thanksgiving, we're going to talk extensively about this next week because it's going to be a tool. I want to give you tools you can use, life-changing tools. Those will be your life's milkshake moments. Eat a spoonful of potato, then switch to your vegetable and keep your protein for last. So if you can keep that in order, just never eat your mashed potato with your protein, because you will get zero. Did I say zero? Yes, I said zero nutritional value. So just remember, as we come through this whole thing, is just remember, yams are the best. Sweet potatoes are usually what you find in the stores. Prick them, both the yams and the sweet potatoes, so they don't explode. Yams are the best. Sweet potatoes and regular potatoes are nightshades. Eat them separately. And last but not least, I want to give you a fitness moment. It goes along with meditation. Make it your best fitness for your mind, your body, and your spirit, since we're talking about spirit tonight. Turn off the TV, turn off the computer at least 30 minutes before you go to sleep. Then just sit. And if you can, get yourself a mat, sit on the floor, lotus position, at least cross-legged, and do this same breathing in, breathing out, and lift your hands up in the air, lift them down, then turn around this way to the right, turn around this way to the left. You're kissing your day goodbye with gratitude. And then when you wake up, as you're doing your meditation in the morning, you rock the baby. Here. I'm so blessed for the day that I'm going to be given. I look up with gratitude and come down. So I hope that you got benefit from not only my story, little Jody, who could sing and found hope from her mother, to how about a little bit of business about that sweet potato? to a great recipe that you can look forward to on Facebook, on Jody Nylander Bear on my Facebook page. Follow me. You'll be getting all kinds of tips. You're going to be hearing all kinds of things about all of us that are going to be in this book, all of us that are going to be with. Not only are we doing this with each other and our family here of speakers, but we're doing it with JB Owen. JB Owen, who will be my guest on Life's Milkshake Moment, doing the mental pillar. Yes, on the 1st of December, before we go in to our summit. But just remember to meditate. Remember to look at your food as fuel, because no food tastes as good as health feels. Choose your ingredients wisely. And now choose to get a little snippet about our Ignite the Hunger in You book. And we'll be back after this break. And yes, you can pre-order the book right now. You see that ticker going along here. Go ahead and download your copy right now. It's only $1.99. You can download the copy. You can go in and actually experience the book, and then you get notification when the book is coming out. Our Ignite the Hunger in You. And now, yes, I have an actual copy in my hand, as all of our authors do. So here we have the book. We have over 360 pages of life-giving hope. This is what we've done. And my first guest, Susan Welton, just gives life-giving hope. This is who she is. I love her power quote. It says, sometimes we must encounter the darkness. Sometimes we must encounter the darkness to become the light. And she has become the light. Her title of the chapter is Love Shouldn't Have to Hurt. But guess what? She has learned how to get through the hurt. She is a warrior of light healing. You can go to warrioroflighthealing.com to check her out. She is now an international best-selling author, speaker, healer, intuitive empath. She is an absolute high frequency living and being person, and she just teaches people how to get into their power and into their light. And Susan Welton, I can tell you are already a light to us here on Life's Milkshake Moments. Welcome.
Oh my gosh, Jody, thank you so much. I almost have tears in my eyes because I'm like looking up at you like you're my big sister. I've always looked for a big sister. I have 4 brothers in my adopted family, so I never had a sister. And so I just feel like I am absolutely exactly where I'm supposed to be today, to be with you and to just give you like that knowledge. Everyone needs to know that. You know, you're just a walking. Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. What a giver you are, Jody.
And what a giver you are as well. And I've always been known lately, since Bob and I got married 12 years ago, the name Mama Bear is stuck, so I can be your Mama Bear sister at no problem. So tell our audience now, this next 10 minutes is about you, Susan. Tell us a little bit about you and your background. Anything I may have missed, we want to know.
Well, you know, because we have 10 minutes, I figure I'm just going to condense. So when you say that I am the light, it's so interesting because throughout my entire life, I've gone through life attempting to help people my entire life because it gave me a sense of joy, or it gave me, you know, a sense of purpose in my life when I was younger. But I had no idea that I had so much darkness. And so most individuals who have a lot of darkness or a lot of trauma run from their trauma. So it's essentially what I did. I landed. So I'm very thankful. This family, this beautiful Tucker family, adopted me when I was 7, the 0 to 7. I repressed, stuck in a box, and I said, none of that stuff happened. So from age 7, you can see the smile on my face. You can barely see my eyes because I'm laughing and smiling so hard because I'm feeling so safe in my family, right? Well, from that moment on, I just said, you know what? I'm given a whole new opportunity in life, and I'm going to run. I'm going to run as hard as I possibly can. I'm going to do everything my 4 older brothers do. And you know what? No one's going to tell me that I can't do anything that they can do. So I went through life like no stops. Like I don't even know how I got there, but there was a lot of need to prove, I think, as a woman, because deep down I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of lack of worthiness that I didn't even understand at that time.
Sure.
That I moved forward into my life with no stops. I'm not kidding. So I got into, past college, got into management in restaurants, and then I got into the business world. Woo! I was so excited to have jumped into being an entrepreneur, flipping houses, doing real estate, helping people into real estate. But again, I found myself in helping people to a point of helping people to my own demise. Now, as I'm coaching individuals who've had a lot of trauma, that is a kind of common thread for a lot of us.
Yes.
My
Yes.
addiction to being a workaholic. I literally would work 18, 20 hours. It was nuts, but I had to run that hard to keep myself from looking back. Because if I had any moment, and that's why I would spin businesses, I would spin plates, to a point of regularly, I would continue to have these breakdowns. And I think as an entrepreneur, we tend to have breakdowns, if there's something in our subconscious mind, and there was a ton there that I was willing to look at until, I hit 500,000, breakdowns, like financial traumas. Then I hit $1 million, and then it got past 1.5. And finally I said,
how much is there? Yeah.
And not only that, but it's like, no playing victim. That's my message, actually. So I can't wait for individuals to read my story, because I finally, after, looking at everything in my life, we all co-create our lives. And so I finally had to accept and take full responsibility. What are you doing? It was me. And I had to look at myself and go, why are you putting yourself in those situations? Every single time. It's a different person, but it's like the same trauma. So that was when I realized, take full accountability for what you co-created, and then had to look in my past. That is when I ended up having to do the deepest, was it painful? But painful in that, facing your fears and your darkness can be scary, because there's a lot of stuff that if you've
it brings you to the light. Accountability. You go into that unconscious mind. So much of the work, when I just said what you're talking about, transformation is an inside job. So let's hear about the inside job of how you connected with Les Brown, and here you are, an international collaborative best-selling author. Let's go into that one.
And this was, and I'll be honest, because I want people to know, there's some people who have been super excited about this journey. I am excited, but there's a part of me that's like vulnerable for the very first time, having to be vulnerable, take off the mask of perfection, which is a huge issue for me, and be fully vulnerable and put yourself out there. Like, I have never put myself out there, because usually this Susan that everybody knows is this very strong, empowered, independent, strong person. Well, you know what? Strength to an extreme can be a weakness. And that's when I realized, oh no, give it up to God and trust God. So my whole journey has been to trust and come back to God. So my ignite moment, Jody, was when I met Satan early on through lots of people who really, a lot of hurt there. But then at age 5, isn't that cool? Similarly, age 5, I met God. And God gave me a message. You're going to be okay, little one. And I have had that hope and that unconditional love in my heart even though I didn't know what family, was. I mean, how do you know what family is when you had a family that treated you horrifically, right? So moving forward, I have actually been asking, and my dream has been to have a spiritual family, and now I have it with you guys. How would I have known? I know that I was walking this path and I would meet my kindred spirits, individuals that have been through tough times, that we know that there's darkness, but then there is that hope, there is that light, and then to be able to walk into that light, to be that light. And so, I'm in a space right now to be able to share my story because I know there is so much stuff, darkness going on in the world right now. People are hiding themselves, labeling themselves, putting themselves into boxes. And the only label I put into the world is whether you're a good person wanting to help people or are you a bad person taking from others, right? That's the only distinction I want moving forward, because the spiritual battle right now is huge. There's a layer of deception and lies being thrown at us right now that I feel like we got to just keep pulling the curtains away. And what I continue to find, doesn't matter who they are, doesn't matter where they came from, it doesn't matter what they look like. We all have this story. Every single person, and this is why the community in the Ignite community is so exciting, because we all have the same story.
Yes.
It's the story of overcoming. It's the story of having that moment of change, growth, getting out of your comfort zone. And you being a big sister and welcoming me the way you did, this is not easy for me, but it's going to become more, easier as I practice and get more vulnerable and sharing, what I've been through, because there's so many people right now going through trauma. There are so many individuals working through their stuff. And you know what? I'm so excited for all the readers who are going to read your story and resonate with you and become healthier because they're listening to Big Sister, right?
There you go. And you think about beginners. What happens in Vegas? The person that sits down and plays the craps table, plays blackjack, they win every time. And this is what we have done, is win with you tonight. Susan, my goodness. So give us one last thing to just tie this up in a beautiful, heartfelt, as only Susan Welton can do, bow. Sometimes if you encounter the darkness, become the light. What is your wisdom, your piece of wisdom to become the light, that spiritual light that we all can be? What would it be?
It's trust the unconditional love from God and become that unconditional love for others. You don't have to have a family. You don't have to have all these things in order to become the light. It's not that way. No. God is our unconditional light. And when you can trust in that love, you then become that love for others. I see people and I accept all people. Like I said, the only ones that I get rid of are the ones that are toxic. I'm like, see ya, wouldn't want to be ya. But then, all of these people who we all have issues and we all have darkness and we've got to face it. It's the mirror work, which is not easy. So the more mirror work you're willing to do and surround yourselves with people who are growing, who are stretching, who want to become the best potential of themselves, it's so exciting because it gives us permission then to become better and have challenges. I mean, the very first time I met you, it was funny because you were like, Susan, I'm going to challenge you on that. I'm like, yes, she's like totally my big sister because I do it for everybody else. So yes. For me to receive that was so awesome, Jody. So you know what? I just tell people, embrace the darkness, face your fears, and become the light.
And you have become the light, Susan. My goodness gracious. Thank you. Will you hang around, because you're going to be back in just a little bit, okay? Beautiful, beautiful share. As we say, namaste for now. Wow. We face our darkness to come into our light. That is what spiritual awareness is all about now, isn't it, family? And my second author, and I want to go into what happened on Saturday and just acknowledge my KP Media, my new media family, for giving us this new platform for 4 hours. We had an unbelievable mind shift with tens of thousands of people that came through my Facebook page and commented. Real men are aware. And I'll be quite honest. All I'm going to say is I knew I needed another man to come in and wind this up with Men's Health Month. We had Women's Health Month in October for men's health, because when men, which they always fix things, but fixing themselves as the hub of the wheel, then we can be the spokes. As we talked about Saturday, we women are the river. We flow. We have an emotion a minute. But men, you are the river banks. Without you, there is no river. And this man, Curtis Ghee, is that man. All I'm going to say, if you missed him on Saturday, go watch the rerun, because he was on the Spiritual Pillar on KP Media TV. I'm telling you, he lit it up. And his story title is Uncuff Your Potential. His power quote is, your purpose has no expiration date, especially if we're talking about the Spiritual Pillar, correct? But he's a gifted speaker. He's a minister. He's a coach, author, now best-selling author, who loves to inspire people and have them go after their dreams. He quotes this quote, your purpose has no expiration date, because he believes it. He has referenced that, it is never too late for you to discover your creator-given purpose and to tap into your potential. He's had 28 years in law enforcement. That's where the Uncuff Your Potential is. And he knew that just arresting people wasn't enough. So he had a sustainable solution to unlock the potential and break through a lifelong limitless and those limitations to keep things moving. So now he and his wife, Felicia, have founded Uncuffed Potential, non-for-profit, which is a community-based deal that they do. It's the real deal, Curtis and Felicia, for sure. And they go and minister to families, communities, and individuals. When he's not speaking and teaching, well, he enjoys spending time with that beautiful life. Don't you just love the name Felicia? Oh, and he puts family first always. He said, I'd rather be a superstar in my own home than outside of my home. Boy. And he loves to learn new things. And I tell you what, we have learned new things from the Curtis Ghee, the man's man. Light us up again and just ignite this moment for your these next 10 or so minutes. Curtis, welcome to Life's Milkshake Moment.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jody. The money I paid you to say all of that really, really paid off. I tell you, thank you so much. This is great. And Susan, man, I'm gonna call her. That's my sister from another mister. Yes. So sister from she was on point. And but anyway, I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you here. And I know that you've got so much more in that 28 years. You've got so much more about your purpose has no expiration date. And you're such an accomplished man, minister, coach, speaker. Just fill in a few gaps here for the next couple of minutes before we go into your chapter and your ignite moment. Would you please, that I may have left out?
Yes. Born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm the youngest of 5. I had a good family, good upbringing. Anybody who knows me, who knew me back when I was 5 years old too, I was always a good kid. Never gave my parents any problems, teachers any problems. Grew up to be an adult, good employee. Never gave anybody any problems. Had a model life. A lot of people looked up to me and thought I had it all together, but secretly, what haunted me was that I didn't know my purpose. And I was almost afraid to ask anybody. So I started to try to find it through education. I went to trade school, but I got it. I had a certificate. I walked out with a certificate and a student loan. And the only problem was I wasn't that great with my hands, skillful. So I went to a community college. So trying different things to find myself. But it wasn't until I wouldn't even say at that point hitting rock bottom, but when persecution came, that's when I found that God was real. Mm-hmm. And just saying, Lord, help me. People think you got to pray 15 minutes straight and sound so profound, but just saying, Lord, help me.
Help me, help me, help me.
And that's when I saw his hand upon my life. And and that's my thing. I want more people to come to realize that that is the key for any type of transformation.
It's to be that hungry and hustle, but you have to be humble too. And when you say humbly, help me, that's where it begins now, doesn't it?
Yes, yes.
So how did from cuffing people to uncuff your potential to Les Brown? I know we're going to go up in here, up in here. I know as he would go.
Yes, yes. Well, without giving away the book, because you do have to buy the book, but some of the things I talk about is the transformation in my life. Like I said, I was trying to find myself, trying to discover myself. And I worked at a nursing home, and then I went from there, and it was no future in that. And then I joined the police department, and it was some things that I saw as a police officer. Well, one particular thing that kind of revolutionized not only my career, but my life, the way I saw things. You know, I was always a good guy. I always wanted to help people. I looked at policing as a platform. And particularly, I grew up in a black neighborhood. I worked in an all black neighborhood. It was a lot of crime, but I would challenge the officers to use that badge as an opportunity to speak to people. I always used to say, I never like to tear a person down without giving them something to build themselves up. So I would always,
a minister out there, weren't you?
I give you one example. And one thing I talk about, I started as a police officer. I went to my pastor and asked about starting a prison ministry. And one day I was locking a guy up, and we had to get a little rough with him. He had a gun, and we tackled him, all that stuff. So as I'm putting him in the wagon, I said, well, hopefully you'll be at this particular prison in Philadelphia. I said, because I'll be preaching there on Saturday night. So hopefully I'll see you there. So
oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. So
witness it. Well, we got to know, was he there?
No, he wasn't there, but
you planted the seed now, didn't you?
Planted the seed. And some of the guys I run into, like one guy in particular, I used to bump heads with all the time. And fast forward some years later, I see him walking with his cap and gown. He was going to Temple University to graduate, and he hugged me and he thanked me. And we even exchanged phone numbers. So God had a plan way before I became a police officer.
Planting those seeds and uncuffing that potential. My goodness gracious. So how did you attract this, this opportunity to uncuff your potential with Les Brown?
God writes a story. He told Jeremiah, before I formed you in your mother's womb, I knew you. And he told him what he was going to be, a prophet unto the nations. All this stuff was already set up. I met through a friend, a coach. I went as far as I could with him. Through that, I met JB. And through JB, I actually was working on a book that she's coaching me on, and that should be coming out hopefully in the beginning of the year. And
congratulations!
Thank you.
Do you have the title for that, Curtis?
Yes, it's called The 5 Keys to Your Destiny. Beautiful. And then the subtitle is Free Your Mind, Change Your Life. Yeah. Okay. So I like them keys, So that's I connected with JB, and she suggested, she was like, well, for what you're doing, you sound like you need to connect with Les, and the rest is history.
Beautiful. Yes, it is. It is history. And what has this journey come to you? What is your life's milkshake moment? What ingredient has Les Brown, this Ignite community, put in your life's milkshake moment to make it oh so sweet?
I would say a deeper level of awareness.
Yes.
And like I said, I grew up shy, bashful, but through my shyness, through my bashfulness, and my apprehension still, and I knew I had a gift. I knew God had his hand on me, but to see things done at a higher level of excellence. And, the Bible says your gifts will make room for you and bring you before great men and women, but bring forth great men or kings. And I had the gift. I was giving it out, but my gift was making room for me, but it was not making room for me in a level where God wanted me to go. And now being around JB, who's always high energy, around you, who's high energy, and less, it speaks for itself. So I
And
would
you
say,
were a high energy too. Okay.
And you know what? And I received that. Yes. And that's pretty much it. God had already orchestrated it.
He has orchestrated everything. We are here bringing this spiritual family together to talk about the spiritual pillar of human awareness. And what is the last piece of wisdom on the spiritual realm? Because you have dropped nuggets. Y'all are going to be watching this now, aren't you? Again, dropping those nuggets in. Oh, we'll see you. We'll see you Saturday. I hope I'll see you Saturday. Dropping seeds, dropping the nuggets. What's your last one, Curtis?
But I said it Saturday, but it bears repeating. Every manufacturer who creates a product introduces its purpose to its user, its consumer. God's no different. And I'm looking at you, everyone in your eyes right now. God is your manufacturer. He created you. There's nothing that you came to this world with that everything you needed to come here and be successful is already inside of you. Birds don't go to school to learn how to fly. Fish don't go to school to learn how to swim. They might swim in schools, but they don't learn. And the same thing with us, we don't have to go anywhere to do what we do. God put it in us. He planted a seed, and it's meant for us to give it out to the world. So,
and this manufacturing ingredient, I tell you what, you have shown us the owner's manual tonight, Curtis. Absolutely. And we'll be back with just a little more. So hang around, would you please? Hang around, because we're going to be back right after speaking of purpose, speaking about our kids, talking about our Ignite the Hunger in You book, and check this out about our Amos Abuga Orphanage, our Kenya kids. That is a short clip of what we showed at our Saturday. Real Men Are Aware, the Kenya kids. They are my love, my delight. I have had the honor of working with the Dr. Amos Abuga Memorial Orphanage for now the last 4.5, 5 years. But during this COVID era, we've been able to feed, house, clothe, educate, and launch these children because their funding went away when the pandemic hit. And we brought this back because Les Brown says that children are 40% of our population, but 100% of our future. And when you look at this book, Ignite the Hunger in You, the School of Hope, all proceeds of our book proceeds go to the School of Hope. We're building a school. Yes, one brick at a time. Every single book buys a brick. So you can go to backtobackforkids.com, and I will be putting those two banners up there. These children, what we're doing for the Kenya kids right now through the end of the year is giving them new school uniforms, new books, and new shoes. So it's so important. And you can buy swag for gifts. And we've got the Real Men Are Aware t-shirts, and we still kept the Women's Sense t-shirts on there as well. But now we're going to be talking about our summit in 22 days. We are going to blow this up. We just are. I tell you, we know we are. Susan and Curtis, here we are again. We are talking about our summit. 22 days. It's just like a miracle. We're going to be, and yes, we're going to be on KP Media TV. JB is going to be here with Mr. Les Brown for all 3 days. So it'll be live simulcast here and on Facebook. We will be here to tell our stories, to ignite the hunger in you. And as it says here, how to develop your greatness and ignite humanity. This is what we're doing with the Back to Back for Kids and also our Cambodian school. So, oh my goodness gracious, Curtis, I'm going to start with you. Why are you just lit up? Why are you lit up? Because that's just how you stay about going ahead and being a part of this summit.
Well, again, just as Susan mentioned, and it's so true, this is an adopted family that I wasn't expecting 5-6 months ago. And what I love is the diversity. You have a woman here who's 7,000 miles away. She was born from me in little old North Philadelphia, where I grew up. But her story can touch someone like me. You know, the similarities. I didn't have the physical abuse from my family, but I went through an abusive situation, you know, in a marriage, in a previous one that, you know, well, whatever the case, all of our stories come together as one, and everybody can get 1 or 22 things from, you know, each of the speakers.
Absolutely. You can get something from everyone, and you can go to fundraise.classroomofhope.org. And then you see on the ticker, back4kids.com. Susan, why are you excited about December 9, 10, and 11?
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear like more about everyone's story. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I'm like a little kid in like a, you know, sandbox, and like, you know, meeting all new people again. So, you know, I always say there are 3 types of kids in a sandbox. One is the one who's got all the toys and giving, you know, the toys away to everybody else. And then there's the other one who's grabbing all the toys, the taker, right? And then there's one that's taking the sand and like throwing it into other people's faces. And every single one of us in this book are givers, you know, and this is why I'm so excited to learn more about them. Look, I mean, think about the collaboration. Even in this, Jody, I can't wait to talk to you about the orphanage in Kenya. I mean, as an orphan, I want orphanages not only overseas and globally, but also here right in our own country. They're so desperately needed. So just think about the collaboration and the mastermind that we get to create. I mean, and this is just, you know, past this book. I mean, I think this is lifelong partnerships, you guys. And I've been looking for individuals who are givers, right? So when Curtis, you say that you've been in a toxic relationship, you know what that's like then, right? When somebody is like taking from you. And then when you're around other givers, it's like this amazing mastermind that's created. Yes. So I cannot wait to mastermind with both of you, but then also the collective with the other authors, and think about the humanitarian project. That is actually what I'm all about. So this school is phenomenal. I mean, I think that just helps me to be inspired to do more humanitarian projects. I know, Jody, you're in eradicating human trafficking. That's a huge part for me here at home.
Oh, yes.
We're going to get rid of that. So we got more to talk about. I think we all do. With a law enforcement background, Curtis, I mean, there's just so much in terms of collaboration.
We are 2 degrees of separation. And we've got banners, we've got this, we've got changing in colors of this, because I just wanted you to see it all. Yes. And if you go to the ticker there on the bottom, you can get with getting a ticket. You're going to say, well, how can I get there? Well, can you imagine having 3 days? Every single day of these 3 days, you're going to hear from the Les Brown. You're going to hear from JB Owen. You're going to hear from icons of the industry. Now, you can get a free ticket, or you can get a ticket that you can watch the videos. But you know that I've never, ever seen a book where you've got action steps from 34 people.
I know.
$20,000 worth of free stuff. And all of you got to do, gang, just go ahead and get your VIP ticket and type in there, get hungry. Your $179 ticket will go to $69, and you get, guess what? The book. Bring a wrap onto our summit. Curtis, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Back to the summit.
Yes.
Well, I'm very excited about it because I know it's a lot of people who were just like me, sick and tired of being sick and tired of going around the same old mountain. But I really want to impart some good nuggets that's going to help people to kind of discover their purpose and just live their life passionately, and collaborating with so many other great speakers. So I'm really looking forward to it.
And I have decided before we started even, I gave you each an initial for your middle name, and it's Susan P. Welton and Curtis PG because it stands for passion. Thank you so much for just bringing this all to a level 10 in our spiritual pillar. Thank you so much. And we'll see you in 22 days now, won't we?
22 days, that's right.
Absolutely, Jody. Thank you so much.
Much love, much love. So I just want to wrap tonight up for our TV show. This is what we know. Next week, we will be getting into the physical pillar. I am just fired up about this. Remember the 1 million pounds of toxic weight loss? I'm bringing 2 of my wonder clients, one of which is on the banner that you'll hear as we wrap this up. Absolutely. We are going to be talking about the physical pillar, how weight loss. See, 8 out of 10 people have weight to lose, and 80.5 men. Women are 8.8 out of 10. Men are 8.5. So it's time. It's time, isn't it? Because the number one cause of all disease is inflammation. The number one cause of all inflammation is and starts with obesity. So let's get it out of there, out of sight. And we're going to hear how to do it the healthy way. We're going to hear how to do it as we did these 1 million pounds of toxic fat loss that we got here. And so I want to wrap though today. Let's be with today. If you're watching during the day or tonight, this spiritual pillar, I want you to do this, to listen to the whispers of your own wisdom, because in those whispers, there's life. And in life, there's always hope. What does hope stand for me? You heard Curtis talk about he loves acrostics. Well, this is what hope stands for me: to go down in to yourself. Pull up that weed in the garden, just don't mow over it. So go down into your healing and then go up and look to your true north, that opportunity, because he will always guide the way. And then come in with positivity. Positivity is the law of attraction, but it's not doing, it's being and living the law of attraction. And then to empower yourself first, to go out in the world. Start with yourself. You put the oxygen mask on yourself on an airplane in the case of turbulence before you put it on your child. So empower yourself first, and then your circle of influence, and then you go to the world. When you hear my tagline about there is hope, this was recording I made with the gospel singer Alicia Williamson. Forgot to tell you all this. Yes, yours truly is singing the background vocals in Nashville in the recording studio. Little did I know that I would be using this as my signature piece now. For there is hope. There is that life's milkshake moment, because you absolutely can do this. There is hope. And if you need to reach out to me, you can go to healthcoachjodee.com, and Jodee is spelled Jodee. So you always remember, Jodee, that's me. You can go ahead and look me up. Follow me on all my social media platforms. It's always at Health Coach Jodee, at Health Coach Jodee. We have a business page for just weight management. We have one, Health for Life, because it is health for your life and for mine. And then Wellness Coach Jodee. And you can always reach out to me on my 800 number, 800-820-0854, 800-820-0850. And always remember, health isn't something you do. It's who you are along life's journey. And until next week, our Wow Wednesday, remember, life is like a milkshake. Choose your ingredients wisely. And when you choose your ingredients this wisely, your absolute milkshake will be so sweet. You deserve sweetness. You deserve wellness. You deserve everything in your life, starting with the spiritual pillar. I want to once again thank KP Media for taking a chance on me, Jody, and just going in and letting us do this live program for 4 hours and for being a part of the KP Media family. But I want to thank and honor my guests one more time. Susan Welton, Healer Intuitive, and Curtis Ghee, the Uncuff Your Potential, because you now know you have no expiration date. So until next week, this is Dr. J saying, have a healthy day.